Andrea DeCero here in West Duwamish Greenbelt with Trent Randall to demonstrate some styles of mindfulness. Beautiful day here, sitting on a bridge. We're going to do a little mindful listening with the bells, hearing the sounds around us. In a moment, we're going to hear an original poem by Trent, setting the mood for what is mindfulness. We're going to try a little mindful breathing, mindful walking down the path, and ending with some mindful standing. And these are all activities you can do at home, but particularly when you're outdoors in the natural world, some of our mindfulness efforts are magnified, or it's just easier to connect as we are humans in nature. And thank you, Trent, for making a beautiful poem for this moment.
Yeah, most definitely.
Do you have a title for this poem?
To match the space that we are right now, I titled it Meadows. I figured that I would try to capture essence of what can be done in the meadows, what can be done when you're trying to be mindful and trying to be in more of a centered space, because it can be hard to, focus in on what really mindfulness can be, and mindfulness can be in nature. Because meadows. I walk through the meadow. I walk through the meadow. I walk through the meadow. It can be nice sometimes to repeat where you are, to repeat the way the earth feels under your feet, the way the wind feels on your skin, the way the sky projects its colors, and the way the flowers and trees create the meadow you walk through. A walk through the meadow can be mindful in nature. Nature can create mindfulness. Nature can create peacefulness. Nature can be calm. A walk through the meadow can also be stillness. Stillness can be the essence of your walk and the end of your journey. The walk through the meadow can be the end of your journey, but the continuation of your mindfulness. A walk through the meadow, mindfully contemplate the walk through the meadow.
It really brings us into the moment, and as you say, often our minds are worried about other things. Something about being in nature just reminds us to come back. Another approach is mindful listening. I'm just hearing the birds around us, a couple urban sounds, and sometimes ringing the bells will also heighten our hearing. So we're just going to one by one ring a couple bells, and then wherever you are, you can pause and listen to small and big sounds around you, even the sound of your own breathing or heartbeat. Which bell are you going to choose first?
Okay, this one, the one that's my most favorite decorated one. You can start by slightly tapping the bell, by waking it up and holding it flat on your hand, and just listening to the sound it makes after you hit it for the second time.
So I'm hearing the bell until the sound fades into silence, and it may be different for you. And we're also hearing sounds of some small birds over there and an airplane. But what are the sounds you hear where you are? So Trent said we might wake up the bell with a little hit, as if we're waking up our senses. Noticing the small sounds around you, where you are, perhaps inside, or small outside sounds. Bringing your attention back on purpose is the definition of mindfulness. You can always pause during your day and check out those sounds around you. It's a real small mindfulness practice when we pause intentionally, bringing our attention to one area of focus. One way to do that also is, if you're hearing your breath, doing a little mindful breathing. So
with my mindful breathing is to try to focus on my emotions and focus on what my feelings are, to try and mimic the space and try to understand everything that's happening in the current moment, focusing on the nature and the space that you're in, and understanding that whether your emotions are riding high or riding low, they could always be manifested back into a calm and easy resting breath. Just being able to understand how your emotions feel, and if they're ever out of place, just trying to breathe yourself back into a normal feeling.
Trent, that's so beautiful, the way you say that, as we bring our attention into our breath, we're letting go of what might be extra, of what we might not need at this moment. And sometimes I think about doing that on the out breath, of letting go of something. So if there is a lot of intensity in our thoughts or emotions, one additional possible approach is to do in through the nose, and then breathe slowly out through the mouth with a little sense of letting go. We could try that together, in through the nose, slowly. You do a little maybe you can join me, Trent. That's a really sense of letting go. So breathing in through the nose. Let's do two more, in through the nose. One more, please join us, in through the nose. And do a few on your own. You may even say in through the nose, out through the mouth. Whatever it is that feels a little extra in this moment, we let it go. Come back to feeling the breath, feeling the body, being where we are.
Mindful breathing it can feel a little more difficult too when it's louder, and it's always good to reflect on the quiet times that you have, not only to be mindful and practice your breathing, but to really cherish those moments and to try and make every moment, whether it's loud or whether it's quiet, to be a time for mindfulness and a time to reflect on yourself.
It's a great point, Trent, that we can come back anytime during the day when we're feeling a little out of sorts. Just do those 3 breaths of in through the nose, out through the mouth. And particularly now during COVID, we need those little moments of grounding, of just coming back, helping ourselves is a way of helping others, of creating a little stability. Another way we're going to try today that you can do any place is mindful walking. Trent's going to read a poem by a Zen teacher we call the father of mindful walking, Thich Nhat Hanh, from Vietnam. And he wrote this poem as a description of mindful walking.
And so the title of it is called Aimless Walking. Take my hand. We will walk. We will only walk. We will enjoy our walk without thinking of arriving anywhere. Walk peacefully, walk happily. Our walk is a peace walk. Our walk is a happiness walk. Then we learn that there is no peace walk, that peace is the walk, that there is no happiness walk, that happiness is the walk. We walk for ourselves, we walk for everyone, always hand in hand. Walk and touch peace every moment. Walk and touch happiness every moment. Each step brings a fresh breeze. Each step makes a flower bloom under our feet. Kiss the earth with your feet. Print on earth your love and happiness. Earth will be safe when we feel in us enough safety.
So we're going to transition now to some mindful walking down the path. And so for mindful walking, we're bringing our attention to our feet. We're hearing the crunching of the gravel here. And I'm especially noticing my heel, toe, as I'm walking. So I really bring the attention to the feet, or just the body moving through space. When our attention wanders away and we're starting to think about something else, very gently bring your attention back to your body, to your moving through space with the legs, to the environment. The more you can bring your attention back on purpose, the greater your enjoyment is going to be. Secretly, mindfulness is about enjoying, coming back to the moment where it's the only place we can really enjoy ourselves. So join me and Trent with a little more walking. And what are your thoughts about this mindful walking, Trent?
While it can be just something that we walk through, it can really be something that we feel and something that can, have a presence by itself. So not only us, are we noticing just the nature around us, flowers and different things that we can touch and different things that we can smell, different things that we can really relate to on a earthly level. Be mindful more so when I try to walk.
Thank you for that great description of coming back to our senses. So I'm touching grasses here and just noticing that tactile quality. So while you're walking, if there's something you want to touch and enjoy and really hold on to that sensation as part of our experience here. So we'll go ahead and slowly walk up the path, bringing attention back to the legs. You might say heel toe, heel toe. You might say step, step, step. Trent and I have paused here for some mindful standing with the model of our trees who are standing for many generations. We're pausing and standing, really just noticing our feet on the ground. If you want to give yourself just a little kind of hip circle or rolling the shoulders, noticing a place that might feel centered in your body. Do a little breathing in. I'm breathing in and doing the shoulders up and breathing out. Feeling a little rhythm of our breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Maybe a moment of mindful listening with the sounds around us. Mindful standing we can do any time, pumping gas or waiting for the elevator and standing in line. And we imagine that we're like a tree with roots deep in the ground, a real sense of stability, maybe even wiggle the toes, a little width here of the legs to give us a strong foundation. And it is a good idea to have the eyes opened as is comfortable to make sure we see where we are with a very soft gaze. Feeling the natural breathing in the body as if you could breathe in through the toes and breathe out. Pay attention to the head and shoulders. Imagine that you're like a tree, the top of the tree reaching up towards the blue sky. Coming back into the body, imagine the gravity, the roots holding us down, and the open sky above us, like a tree between earth and heaven. When you have a chance to go outside and stand by a tree, or doing this in your everyday life. And just as a quick review, we started with the mindful listening with bells. We did the mindful breathing, the mindful walking down the path, and mindful standing.